Hey, y'all. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Happy Thursday, everybody. We are going to do our fundraiser for Pride Month. So we will be discussing a few things going on. But all proceeds in today's live, you'll see a donate button down where the heart usually, or there's a heart in the corner right next to your comment box. Or if you exit out of the live stream, there's a donate button you can go to. Either way, all of the money directly goes straight to YouTube. I don't touch none of it. Goes straight to YouTube and then is dispersed to the Trevor Project, is who we selected, or who I selected for this fundraiser. I appreciate everybody that has donated this far. I can't see it on the StreamYard side, but I'll try to pull up my phone. And let me see.
I can't see it.
Oh, I don't want to hear myself. There we go. Okay, I donated once. Okay, I did. It's going through. All right, perfect. Okay, so let me roll this intro and then we will get going. Dang it, I can't see the donations that took place before I opened my phone. Dang it, I was going to thank all of you individually. Alma, it looks like you donated. You said you donated twice. Thank you so much. If I miss you, I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't see everybody, unfortunately. Sasha, thank you. Chico, thank you. Duchess, thank you. Gummy Bear Goblin, thank you. Baby, thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Alma. Thank you. Revival, thank you so much for donating. Janice and Accounting. Yeah, I can't really see on this side of things. That's the only shitty part. On StreamYard, you can't see nothing. Yeah, you can't see them. It doesn't scroll back far enough. Crap. All right, so let's get this going. Today we're going to talk about the Trevor Project first and foremost. So I wanted to open here. So something that's been heavily on my mind lately, and I've mentioned it a few times, is what is happening with the 988 portion. The Trump administration orders termination of National LGBTQ plus Youth Suicide Lifeline, effective July 17th. The Trevor Project received official notice yesterday that the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration is initiating the closure of the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifelines LGBTQ plus Youth Specialized Services Program within 30 days, effective July 17th, 2025. Hold on just a second. I got a cough. James Black, CEO of the Trevor Project, released the following statement in response. We received official notice that the Trump administration has ordered the closure of the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifelines LGBTQ plus Youth Specialized Services Program, effective July 17th, 2025. This means that in 30 short days, this program that has provided life-saving services to more than 1.3 million LGBTQ plus youth people will no longer be available for those who need it. This is devastating, to say the least. Suicide prevention is about people, not politics. The administration's decision to remove a bipartisan, evidence-based service that has effectively supported a high-risk group of young people through their darkest moments is incomprehensible. The fact that this news comes to us halfway through Pride Month is callous, as is the administration's choice to remove the T from the acronym LGBTQ plus in their announcement. Transgender people can never and will never be erased. This is heavy. Congress can still act to reverse this fatal decision. We are asking everyone to join the overwhelming public support for evidence-based crisis services and urge Congress to act. Learn more, and then they've got more about that. You guys can see what I'm talking about, right? Yep, you can. In September 2022, the Trevor Project began providing its best practice crisis services to LGBTQ plus youth through the 988 Lifeline. When individuals contact the 988 via phone, text, or chat, they are given the option to press 3 or reply PRIDE to be connected with counselors trained specifically to assist LGBTQ plus contacts up to age 25. Initially, the Trevor Project served as a sole provider for the pilot phase of the 988 LGBTQ plus youth specialized services before transitioning to serve as one of 7 centers that currently make up the LGBTQ plus youth subnetwork. The Trevor Project serves nearly 50% of the LGBTQ plus youth specialized services contact volume. In 2024 alone, the Trevor Project directly served more than 231,000 crisis contacts and trained and supported nearly 250 crisis counselors and operational staff to support the 988 Lifeline. Previously, the LGBTQ plus youth subnetwork received up to $50 million in restricted federal funds to provide these life-saving services. The Trevor Project supporters in the House and Senate advocated they continued funding for these life-saving programs. The organization launched a petition to demand lawmakers to protect the LGBTQ plus youth and an emergency lifeline fundraising campaign. On June 2nd, 2025, more than 100 entertainment icons across film, music, TV, sports, theater, comedy, fashion, culinary arts, and book publishing joined the Trevor Project's sign-on letter to protect federal funding for LGBTQ plus youth suicide prevention. If you or someone you know needs help or support, the Trevor Project's trained crisis counselors are available 24/7 at 1-866-488-7386, via chat at thetrevorproject.org, get help, or by texting START to 678-678. So let's go over here. So this is the organization we are donating to. Right here, it's the Trevor Project. So they provide services across the country. I mean, as you can see, this is all the different places. There's so much information on here. Let's watch this video.
We're not going anywhere. People in the queer community and the trans community belong everywhere.
When I hear Pride belongs here, I hope that everybody who identifies with the LGBTQ plus community knows that there's a place for them, there's a space for them, and there's a voice for them.
Pride to me has always been about protecting the next generation of queer youth.
It means actively trying to create space that not only I feel comfortable in, but facilitates other people also feeling welcome and comfortable being themselves.
I think that celebrating Pride in a small way to protect your safety is just as meaningful as going to a huge Pride parade in June.
For me, growing up, Pride wasn't necessarily about big grand statements or Pride parades. For me, it was more the smaller things. By wearing a Pride bracelet or holding your partner's hand, or just like, being who I am.
As a queer Appalachian, Pride did not look like a parade. It looked like living authentically and loudly, even if we didn't know anybody was listening or paying attention.
Growing up in my hometown, there was no Pride. There was no talk about it. This was kind of taboo.
I have a deep love of West Virginia, and getting to grow up there was both great and really lonely as a little queer kid.
The first time I went to Pride was last year, and it was the first time I had ever felt comfortable. I finally felt like this is who I am, and it's okay, because look at this community around you.
You just have to look for the community. It might be hiding, it might not be what you think it is, but it's there.
Even when the world feels ugly and scary, I have at least one person who will look at me and say that I matter.
I know that having those supporters so close to you is the difference between being afraid to take that step to being comfortable with yourself and being celebratory about the fact that you get to live the life that you deserve to live.
It makes me so happy to see all of these youth who aren't afraid anymore of being themselves and being excited for what's on the horizon for them.
I find a lot of hope in like hearing about like my queer and trans elders and what they went through and how they resisted and persevered. Pride does belong where we exist because we do exist.
Pride belongs here is really about claiming space, especially where we've been told that we can't or that we don't belong.
I belong here.
You belong here.
We belong here.
Pride belongs here.
I think most importantly, Pride, it belongs everywhere.
We're not going.
So that is the organization that we are donating to, is the Trevor Project. They have incredible resources. Their website is linked in the description of this video. They provide many resources to all ages in the LGBTQ plus community. But as you guys know, there is a lot currently happening within the LGBTQ plus. As you've heard what we just read, funding is being cut. There are things being removed off of websites because of funding being removed. It's more important now than ever to speak up, say something, and get involved. Love is love. Period. People should be able to live their true, authentic lives, whatever they choose, however they choose. It's horrifying that this is happening again. But I want to talk about a story that kind of takes, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. Somebody else just did a breakdown of his story. This is the Matthew Shepard Foundation. We're going to be talking about Matthew Shepard. I think this is a good one to kind of highlight right now. So they also have an organization, a foundation that you can donate to. I will include the link for this one too, if you would want to donate to this one, to this foundation, another great foundation. So we will be going over this story in just a minute. There is actually the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act that went into effect October 22nd, 2009. And signed into law by President Barack Obama on October 28th, 2009 as a rider to the National Defense Authorization Act for 2010. Conceived as a response to the murders of Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr., both in 1998, the measure expands the 1968 United States federal hate crime law to include crimes motivated by a victim's actual or perceived gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. And it goes on to, well, you guys can't see. It goes on to talk about, let me make sure. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. This is Matthew Shepard. The bill removes, in the case of hate crimes related to the race, color, religion, or national origin of the victim, the prerequisite that the victim be engaging in a federal protected activity like voting or going to school. It also gives federal authorities greater ability to engage in hate crimes investigations that local authorities choose not to pursue. Provides $5 million per year in funding for fiscal years 2010 through 2012. Again, this was an older bill that was done to help state and local agencies pay for investigating and prosecuting hate crimes. So unfortunately, Matthew Shepard is a heartbreaking story. And I figured for our fundraiser today, we would highlight his story. But I want to give a huge shout out to Allegedly Speculating. If one of my mods could drop her link. Allegedly Speculating has done a recent, when was this? This is just recent, 2 weeks ago. They just detailed Matthew Shepard's case. So they're going to drop Allegedly Speculating's link. In fact, I'll do it right quick. Give me 1 minute. So you can go watch this full thing. It's 4 hours, but it's very well done. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Took me a second. So here's a direct link to the video that they did. And we're going to watch some about Matthew Shepard's story. We're going to watch Murdered at First Sight. Trigger warning, this is a heavy conversation and a discussion. Yes, Cindy Lynn, it is open for, let me see. It should be open till the 1st. That's what it's set to do, is the fundraiser should go. I will make sure, actually, let me do that right now while I'm going and doing this. I will make sure that it is going through till the 1st. Thank you for reminding me. I will go check and make sure. Thank you all to everybody that has donated so far to our fundraiser. You guys are amazing. Please Speculating, thank you once again for all you do. Thank you so much. I dropped your links for your coverage 2 weeks ago on this. You did an excellent job. So hopefully some more will come over and watch your breakdown because it's incredible. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for hanging out and donating. And if you aren't able to donate, just hit the thumbs up. Get this out there, maybe more people. And I just made sure that it is ongoing until the 2nd of July, just to give us a buffer zone for those that get paid on the 1st. Thank you for asking that. And we'll continue to watch this. Matthew Shepard's story is extremely heartbreaking. But again, it is so important that we talk about things that are
to us.
Thank you, Wispy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all for just stopping by and taking part in this conversation. Again, love is love. We need to support our fellow human beings. Love is love. I will never understand. I will never understand this level of cruelty. I will never understand what is currently happening. I'm not going to understand it. But I appreciate every single one of you for stopping by, taking part in this, and understanding why it is important to support resources like the Trevor Project and so many others like the Trevor Project who are doing so much for communities that just want to exist. People just want to exist and live their authentic lives. I'll never understand it. You guys are incredible. There are 58 of you in here. 58 of you, and we've raised over $1,100. We've doubled our goal. I am incredibly humbled by your guys' kindness every time we do this. Truly, I have no words. Besides, we will continue to show up. We will continue to do what parts we can, because everybody deserves to live their true, authentic lives. Love is love. And right now, it's worse than ever. The fact that they're even attempting to cut funding for LGBTQ plus services with the 988 is mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. But here we are. I'm so sorry for your uncle and anybody that has been treated such ways. I'm truly, like, the stories you guys are sharing, I'm sorry for anybody that has experienced this. This type of hatred is something that just astonishes me. I hear people often say, well, there's only this, or okay, but who does Pika loving affect? Why does Pika loving and I'm just using her names as an example because she's right there. How does that impact us? It doesn't. It doesn't. But I hear people making excuses for, it's almost like the fear of the unknown because they don't understand. Why is it any different than me loving Kyle? Why does it matter? Something I struggle with all the time. I told you guys that I don't know that I don't have any personal understanding of that, but from the stories I've heard of others, it seems incredibly difficult, especially in cultures that see it as problematic too. Like, it can be. Yeah, there's another foundation too called the Freedom Foundation that is working on some things right now too. That's pretty incredible. I've been digging in and looking at a bunch of resources and stuff recently, and the statistics of it's alarming. The suicide rate, especially now again, with resources being cut. Yeah, there's just a lot going on. We need to talk openly about these situations.
In mind that Kristen had obviously lied to the police.
Matthew didn't deserve to die. Nope. You guys, I'm not talking a lot or giving any additional information or anything like that. This is so well done and such a great coverage of Matthew's story. I figured this speaks for itself. So, and again, I'm not trying to do a true crime case. I just want to highlight a case that a lot of people are familiar with, but some are not. Hey, Lippy. Yeah, same. Yep. What? Oof, there's so much that could be said. I just want to point out something really quick. To my mods, thank you. Well, to my friends, they're not just my mods. Thank you. Not one of them was sent links, what we were all going to be discussing today, nothing. And they are going over and grabbing hotlines and information and numbers to post. I've didn't ask them to, nothing. See a need, fill a need. They are always showing up to help and provide information. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Like, I'm just sitting here watching the comment section and I'm like, oh, that's a good one. Like, you guys are really, really amazing. Truly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Did you hear what this man just said? This was the first time I've heard that gay panic defense. Excuse me, what? Somebody's panicking because another person is gay? What? What do you think it's going to fucking rub off on you? You're going to catch it? I mean, what? Even attempting to try and rationalize that doesn't make sense. Gay panic. Mike, I've never like that. Yeah, gay panic. Hearing that, right, Pika? I don't know if I've heard it and just it didn't click like that before, but I don't think I've heard that phrase used like that. Right, Wooddrake. That's CK. I hadn't either. It's been used before. See, Pointer Lover. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Just absolutely mind blowing that there's even a potential defense for that. Right, Hannah? That's what I'm like. What the fuck are they panicking for? What is there? It's new to you too. There were laws for it. Really, Wooddrake. That's a rabbit hole I'm going to have to jump into. Exactly, Lippy. Love is love. Like, I just don't understand this level of ignorance. That, Ellen, I'm sorry that it was hard, but you make such a valid point, though. You weren't scared of her. Sorry, Hank's talking. You weren't scared of her. You were scared for her. And I think that's a significant difference. It wasn't that you weren't accepting of her or loving your child. You were worried for her well-being because of other people teaching hate. I'm sure, I can't imagine the fear. Excellent breakdown. We've got one more. This one's not as long, but I want to highlight James Byrd Jr. And again, love is love. All humans deserve to live their authentic, true lives, loving whoever they want to love and being whatever they want to be to fulfill their fullest, happiest lives. It's not that hard. It's actually pretty simple. Some people make it very complex, and it's really not. And now more than ever, we need to rally and be allies. If you like the accomplice word, I prefer that. I'd rather be an accomplice than an ally, but it's all the same. All right. I got one funny one. Do you guys want to do a break between these and do a funny one? It's just, again, not to bring politics into it, but it's funny as shit. So there's one funny one. Do you guys want a quick laugh between to try and handle all of our emotions? I've learned that I have to like pre-screen all of this so I can keep myself in check because the tears start flowing. Love is love. That's all. That's it. That's all. Thank you, mods, for dropping all these links today. It's incredible. What do you guys want? Do you want a laugh in between, or do you want to just go into this and do the laugh at the end? Which do you prefer? Oh, Cash, you might laugh at this one because a palate cleanser. Absolutely, Wooddrake. Well, no, this is. You'll know what I'm playing here in a minute. I'll just play it. I don't care what side of the aisle you are on. This shit's funny. Okay. At the end. Okay, you guys are saying small break. Let's do it at the end. Let's keep going with this, and then we'll save that for the end. And if you haven't seen that, you're up for a laugh. So we're going to end it out, but we're going to talk about James Byrd. Here we go. Again, trigger warning.
It is extremely hard to go back
This is from the BBC.
to Jasper. Just seeing the city limits of Jasper, Texas, the trees caving in, and seeing a long, rugged road would just bring back the memories.
One of the worst hate crimes this nation has ever seen. Byrd was kidnapped and then tied behind a pickup truck and dragged for nearly 3 miles in the East Texas city of Jasper, all because he was black.
The legacy of a gruesome hate crime still haunts this small Texas town.
Their lives changed for.
And the reason why I'm mentioning this one is because Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. helped bring that act and federal change, federal laws. That was mentioned along by Matthew's parents. So, and we talked about it with the law. I wanted to highlight so you guys understand what case they are discussing.
Forever on June 7th, the day of Byrd's murder.
There are not words to describe just how bad this was.
We learned that there was a great deal of prejudice in our community that we kind of swept under the rug.
And it changed one family forever.
This was 23 years ago, but it still seemed like yesterday.
This generation, they don't know about James Byrd Jr., the black man that was dragged behind a pickup truck. I would describe my dad as witty.
Sorry, Hank is talking, but until I was reading about the act, I didn't know James Byrd Jr.'s story. I'd never heard this before, and what information I found was devastating.
The life of the party, and very free-spirited. The day before my dad was brutally murdered, he wasn't himself. I don't know if he felt something.
I was actually in basic training, and my sergeants woke me up and told me, I had a phone call. It was pretty important.
The phone rang, and I heard my sister just scream. But when I heard her scream, she hit the wall, and she said, "Daddy."
It's something you don't want to never get a phone call for, I tell you like that.
On a Saturday night in June 1998, James Byrd Jr. caught a ride with 3 white men in Jasper, Texas. They drove him down a dark country road, beat him, then chained him alive to a pickup truck and dragged his body for 3 miles until he was decapitated.
A black boy found the body on his way to church, and he called the sheriff's department because it was outside of the city limits.
The sheriff immediately called the FBI in for backup, but it didn't take long for the news to spread through town.
He took the ministers out there and showed us, and we saw where the teeth were and where the baseball cap was and where the arm and the head were, and it was horrible. He wanted us to know as much as he knew, so that we could tell our people.
Are you a white supremacist, sir? Are you a white supremacist?
The day after the murder, police arrested John William King, Russell Brewer, and Sean Allen Berry.
I thought that it was very, truly, to have the Matthew Shepard, it's actually called Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act, for these two to be together to get federal legislature passed was incredible. 2 differing stories, but all centered around hate.
We believe that Bill King wanted to start a KKK group in this community and needed to do something phenomenal, earth-shattering, because Bill was a brilliant kid, but he was evil.
It was Jasper. There was not a lot of hard news there. There was not a lot of controversy there.
Jayla.
It had a large population of African Americans living in Jasper. So it would have been the last place in East Texas that I would have thought this would happen.
Over the last 2 decades, reporter Angel San Juan covered how the town of Jasper has tried to move on from the tragedy.
The town was horrified, and from the beginning, it was important for Jasper to say that, hey, we're not all like that.
This is Klan country, has been Klan country, and will be Klan country from now on.
The Klan decided to come in. The new Black Panthers decided to come in.
Authorities are facing their greatest challenge controlling the situation now, when the Klan is trying to leave the scene and Black militia groups are trying to confront them.
But what they did is the local folks, they stayed away. The ministers in Jasper of all faiths came together and they led the community.
We need prayer for healing, and we want everyone, Black, white, Hispanic, everyone.
We learned that there was a great deal of prejudice in our community that we kind of swept under the rug.
And not everyone in the town wanted to face that reality.
There were a few people that would almost try to blame Mr. Byrd. No one deserves to die that way.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
We weren't going to change people by arguing. We were going to change them by how we lived our lives.
You can still see the tree line that divided the white part from the Black cemetery.
The Jasper City Cemetery was still segregated. It was divided. There was a white side and a black side.
And we took down the fence. And for us, it was very, very meaningful.
Until we actually see that justice is done, then I believe only then will we begin to heal here in Jasper.
John William King became the first white man in Texas history to be sentenced to death for killing a Black man.
I actually witnessed his execution. He literally just went to sleep, and you think of James Byrd Jr.'s death. He committed the crime, yet he just went to sleep, and James Byrd Jr. just struggled to the very end.
Russell Brewer was sentenced and executed as well, and Sean Allen Berry is still serving life in prison.
Good morning, Sean.
When I found out that my dad was brutally killed by 3 white supremacists, I was in denial. I was numb. I was 16 years old. So love and forgiveness was no part of my thought process at that moment.
I was fighting for a country that killed my old man. You know what I'm saying? It was hard for me to remain in the service after that. James Byrd did what he wanted to do. And you know, he was that type of person. I take after him a lot. Smart, intelligent, charismatic. At the end of the day, you can't turn into the hater. You know, I'm just being honest with you. It's not a happy life.
In 2009, President Barack Obama signed a hate crimes law named after James Byrd Jr.
We will strengthen the protections against crimes based on the color of your skin, the faith in your heart, or the place of your birth.
23 years later, I still get angry, but it's how you channel your anger, and I choose to.
Did you see Matthew Shepard's parents standing right next to them?
Channel it in a positive manner. So this is a journey for me. My dad did not get killed at the hands of a police officer, but in today's world, that is what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of brutality by the hands of officers.
The murder of George Floyd, it was a challenging point for me to put on my uniform. Just the disappointment that our country is still enduring racism in the magnitude that it is.
I want to be that officer, if nothing else, just be there in solidarity, be there as, hey, you know, I know what you're going through.
How many George Floyds do we got to be? You know, how many James Byrds do we got to be? So we got to start back loving each other. It don't make no sense.
Okay, that is James Byrd Jr. That's just a quick video so you guys know the two cases that are part of the federal act for hate crimes. All right. And unfortunately, there's so many more that we don't know the names of, that aren't main headlines. There's just so many more. Oh, YouTube, go away. Not now. Yeah. Jim, it seems like we're going back years and years. It does. But to finish out Pride Month, I am going to show, well, we got a few more days left of the month. Again, this fundraiser will run until the 2nd of July. So if you need time, you have until the 2nd of July. Thank you all who have already participated. Yeah, Amber, they don't really know. But again, thank you. Huge thank you for all of you hanging out and watching this with me today. Yeah, NorCal, it really is. It really, really is. I'm going to leave this video kind of short and sweet. Again, all funds go directly to the Trevor Project. Links in the description. I highly encourage you to go over there if you need resources, information. There's a ton of different parts to their website that they offer advocacy and resources and what they're currently working on. And they detail the states that they are trying to pass bills to get rid of conversion therapy, because that's extremely harmful. We could have a whole discussion on conversion therapy one of these days and my thoughts on that, because let me just tell you, I do not have high thoughts on conversion therapy. So I want to leave you with a funny. Love is love. Love is love. Happy Pride Month. Hank says, what? Are you going to say something? Are you going to talk? No, you're going to be quiet because I'm telling you to talk. Are you going to talk? Can you say something? No, only when I want you to be quiet. All right, here's our funny, because Kyle found this last night and he was cracking up. You know Kyle. Here we go. Oh.
Is who we're going to oppose or something like that. My colleagues on the other side would get a little more traction if they introduce some clever tactics. I'll introduce one. A lot of people in America have come to think of President Trump as a sort of father figure. And indeed, this morning, we even saw the leadership of NATO refer to him as daddy. So maybe in these resolutions going forward, we could have a little bit of recognition of like daddy Trump is who we're going to oppose or something like that. Get creative with it. But in the meantime, please vote no on these resolutions.
You don't want to know what daddy means in my community.
Daddy Trump.
The response, you cannot help but the response to that. You don't want to know what daddy means in my community. I thought that was perfection, though. Like how that came back. I mean, just simple to the point. You don't know what, I mean, what? I thought that was so great. You want me to play it again? Okay, hold on. I laughed so freaking hard at this.
Trump is who we're going to oppose or something like that. My colleagues on the other side would get a little more traction if they introduce some clever tactics. I'll introduce one. A lot of people in America have come to think of President Trump as a sort of father figure. And indeed, this morning, we even saw the leadership of NATO refer to him as daddy. So maybe in these resolutions going forward, we could have a little bit of recognition of like daddy Trump is who we're going to oppose or something like that. Get creative with it. But in the meantime, please vote no on these resolutions.
You don't want to know what daddy means in my community.
Daddy Trump.
You can't make that shit up, though. Yeah, classic is exactly right. Like, I mean, right there. There you go. I just thought that was hysterical, though. I'm going to leave you with love is love. Love who you want. Live your authentic lives. You're important. You matter. And thank you all once again for donating today to the Trevor Project. You guys, yeah, they did, Pika. They all busted up. Like, how could you? I would have been like, whoa. I would have fallen on the floor. I don't know how the first guy got through saying that with a straight face, but the gallery losing it when the other guy got up there, I was like, all right, well, there's that. Thank you all once again. I will see you guys. I might do a members only tonight, but if not, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. And thank you all again for being here, hitting the thumbs up, donating, all of the things. Thank you. Bye, y'all.